Welcome to Ride Along. I'm Joe Monahan. Thank you for joining me. It's been a long time, but I've actually been nursing an injury and back on the bike. But timing couldn't be better because there's a very important subject that I'd like to talk to you about. As the title said, very important. And that is the new SEC CySec Transparency Act. Now, that's a pretty big mouthful, but I'm going to try to break it down first into kind of a nutshell, and then help you understand why this is going to be so important. The general idea here is public trading companies, as well as probably eventually other companies, are going to have to prove that they have the ability to recover from things like ransomware or a disaster, or even prevent it from happening. Now, why is this important? The way that you want to look at this is you have to be able to provide information or proof or a plan that shows that you're ready for any kind of disaster that's going to come your way. And I know when I say any kind of disaster, a lot of people say, well, that's impossible. Well, you have to have a plan. You have to have something in place that says, if this type of emergency or accident happens, I'm covered. A lot of things will fall under that subject. A lot of the infiltration protection companies, Arctic Wolf and others, have started to really press this on protecting your environment from anybody invading it. Well, that makes a lot of sense. The other side of this that people probably aren't looking at as carefully is the backups and restoration of that environment. Because like I said, it's not if, it's when somebody gets in. What do you do when they're there? So Veeam has so many features that have been overlooked for a past year or two that are now going to become incredibly prevalent with this new ruling to a lot of these larger companies. One of those is going to be being able to test your backups natively however you want and have reports showing that you tested them and showing what the results were. Secondly, a product called Orchestrator. Not only can I set up these tests and show you, but I can now have multiple automated ways to recover. So if I'm sitting with a group of my IT experts and they're telling me, here are 6 different ways that you could be hit, and here are 6 different ways to recover, I can orchestrate those recoveries with a plan, and I can show those plans to those people who are going to come around saying, hey, you got to show me or prove to me that you have something in place that is going to work. And that's all native to the product. We also have the ability to have alarms as well with Veeam 1, which is just as important to know that something's happening so I can be ready when it does. Another great thing about Veeam 1 is I can create detailed reports of what's been going on in the environment, and again, being able to provide proof that my plan is being executed by showing the reports that those things are being protected, and they follow the plan that I put together that I'm showing you. So now you have a history showing exactly step by step what I'm trying to provide. And I will provide when there is an emergency. But this is, again, one of those subjects that I can't stress enough. There are so many other features for backup and recovery, especially for recovery, that you really don't consider. So instant Veeam recovery is a feature that Veeam has that allows you to be able to move from the backup. So it's like having that backup of that disk, if you will, already on-prem, ready to go. Instead of having to migrate it over, then attach to it, you can go straight to the backup file, boot it, and then once it's in production, running in the memory space, I can then migrate the disk into production when I need to. That doesn't seem like a big deal or might seem very technical, but think of it as the quickest way to get your environment booted up. On a side subject to this, with this coming, people are going to be taking a closer look at insurance. And not just insurance, but the way that something like the SEC or other people like that might look at a company being broken into. For example, if you get hit with ransomware and you know what it is, and you say, okay, great, we've identified it, we're ready to recover, who's to say that your insurance company is going to allow it? Who's to say that an agency is not going to come in and say, well, now this is considered evidence, and until we're able to go through this evidence, you're not going to be doing much of anything. If I could show them that the data that I'm recovering is going to be clean, the data that was infected, I can hand over to them or put it into a privatized environment, and they can go through it all they want and give them all the information that they need to give me the green light to recover. When I say faster recovery, and again, more intelligent recovery, this is something that you're really going to have to consider in the near future. Because once again, you were ready to recover doesn't mean they are ready to recover. Thanks for riding along, and I hope this is helpful. Of all of the ones that I've probably done, I think this is one of the most important. So thank you again for riding along.